What if I told you that you are not behind, you're just early in your next chapter? One of the things that breaks my heart when I have clients sign up with me and they are 40, 50, 60, 70 years young, and they go, I'm so upset, or I feel stupid because I feel like I should know these things by now, right? And immediately they are telling themselves that who you've been up until this point has been a failure. Okay? There's a lot of age-based shame that we exist in, right? Where we put this pressure on ourselves to be something by a certain age, overlooking all the other factors that are kind of influencing where we are. And it's not always that we are bad where we are in the present moment. Let's say, for example, you put a baby in a room, right? You put a baby in a room and every day they get food on a plate. Give them a plate of food. And you do that for 10 years. Then finally, on year 10, you come in and you give them a fork. Up until this point, it's just been a plate of food. So they use their hands to get the food to their mouth. You give them a fork. And they're just, and you don't tell them what to do with that fork. You just give it to them, right? On the surface, somebody would say, well, yeah, you're 10. You should know how to use a fork by now. Overlooking that, hey, were you ever in an environment that taught you how to use the fork? Okay, and you've been in this room. So it's not like you even had access or been influenced by other people around you. You've been in this room, right? Where the only model you had of eating has been you learning to use your hands. So how could you know how to use a fork, right? And the reason why I made the distinction between them being in a room versus being around other people, because there are some people who definitely weaponize incompetence, right? They go through the world saying, well, I didn't grow up in this kind of household, or I wasn't taught that, but they are still around people, they're consuming information where they have the opportunity to do things differently, right? But it's easier to sit in this because it requires other people to accommodate their dysfunction. Versus somebody who's like, man, I've been in this relationship for so long, I had no idea that I was being taken advantage of, right? The reason why is because in my family system, this was just normal. And I didn't really have experiences outside of that. Like, yeah, my patterns I took with me. I packed them up and I took them with me. I was told that this was what was required. That's a little bit different. And the reason why it's different is because this person is now showing up to do things differently versus staying stuck. Okay? Sometimes as we move through life, we will realize, like, man, I didn't know these things. And before you say should, because should is an implied expectation, right? Before you say should, it's like, how would I have known these things? What was my model for it, right? You know, what we fail to realize is, like, back in the day, the life expectancy was like, what, 25, maybe 30? So yeah, people were having children, people were having houses, you know, people were married very early. So success was that. If you had those things by the point of your expiration, then you were deemed successful. But let's look at how much has changed since then. Let's look at how society works since then, okay? People aren't buying houses as quickly. Financially, they're not able to do that, okay? And it's due to circumstances. People are not getting in relationships because now they're understanding, well, do I want to be in a healthy relationship or do I just want to have a relationship? All right. At one point in time, there were people who weren't even considered people legally. So a lot has changed. So sometimes we are using very dated metrics to define what our success is, or a lot of times we are using somebody else's trajectory and projection of what success is to define it for us. But sometimes it's just important to slow down and ask yourself, well, what have I been doing up until this time? Have I been trying to figure it out, or have I been sitting comfortably in my own dysfunction because I'm afraid, right? But it's so important to recognize when you are willing to do differently, nobody can shame you for that. I was a personal trainer for well over a decade. And, when certain people came to work with me, they would say, yeah, I've never stepped foot in the gym. Or I've always been afraid to because I don't know what to do there. And I think people are going to, laugh at me, right? We have this humiliation thing, right? But people aren't thinking about you as much as you were thinking about yourself. Thinking about them, thinking about you, right? And in the gym especially, everybody is there to improve if you really think about it. Everybody is going to the gym to improve, right? Everybody has something that they want to work on, whether it's their form, whether it's their stamina, their body positivity, their image. Everybody is there to improve. So you would just be another person that's looking to do that. Okay. And in life and in the world, the thing about it is everybody wants to feel good, right? Everybody wants better relationships, but very few people are doing anything about it. And when you put yourself in that position to be an outlier, yeah, you might get some ridicule, you might get some pushback. However, that shouldn't deter you from doing it. Why? Because you're going to improve yourself, and also you're going to be an improvement for other people one way or another, right? You're going to impact. There's something so, I think, necessary to appreciate about a person who is willing to show up scared and do things differently to get a different outcome, no matter how old they are. And if you're one of those people who feels like, well, I always wanted to do this as a kid, but I never did it because my parents said it wasn't okay. And now you are thinking that, oh, it's too late to pursue this. Is it though? Whose life is this? Is it yours or is it theirs? Oh, you're worried about other people looking at you funny? Hey, if they're looking at you, that means that they're not working on themselves, right? So it's super crucial to understand when you are shaming yourself for being human and having your own life experience versus supporting who you are and who you are looking to get to know, because you are your longest relationship. How are you taking care of you? Okay? So I really want you to think about that and consider that before you shame yourself for being a certain age and not having certain knowledge about, boundaries, manipulation, gaslighting, all these other things, or feeling like, well, I didn't have a chance to really pursue my dream career, or et cetera, and I've done this all along, and now I feel like there's nothing left to live for. You're still breathing, that means there's still opportunity to learn something new. Give it a shot, because you will be surprised. But you should also appreciate who you are. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.